Hey everybody, this is herculespetix, founder, curator, docent, and gift shop employee of the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies. Today we're going to be looking at Vice Magazine, Volume 13, Number 5, from 2006. This is the special comics issue, guest edited by Johnny Ryan. Johnny Ryan had been working for Vice for years. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was doing strips for Vice even before he got Angry Youth Comics. Like, that was his, really pushed him onto the national scene. Even if I'm wrong about that, it was roughly around the same time. So probably was a really good gig. Vice is owned by American Apparel. They probably had a lot of money. And he had a strip in almost every issue, as far as I remember. But this is nice. They got Jaffee to draw the bottom half of the cover here. And Johnny Ryan did the top. Kind of a collaboration. This is a lot of ads. I forgot how many ads this magazine has. This was a magazine that was free at every American Apparel you went to. And it was a really good magazine, really fun. And they always had room for comics. Mark Bell had a comic in there. Way before he became like the fine artist, Mark Bell. It was one of the earliest venues where he would get his work out. Here's a picture of Jaffee at work. Jaffee's materials, his stuff. Oh man, there's a lot of ads. This band uses Frazetta for their cover. It's pretty nice. I'll try not to comment on the ads. It was kind of a time capsule. Looking through this last night, I was like, oh wow, 2006, almost 20 years ago. And just how different things were. Some of the contributors, they don't do all of them. Letters page, nothing to do with comics. So there's some of the regular features are still in this issue. The opening articles are all comics related. Kind of the debate about who created the Garbage Pail Kids. Apparently Mark Newgarden has a claim, as does Art Spiegelman. I think it's Mark Newgarden. That's my guess. Top 5 painfully lame comic book villains. I like if they include Stun Rage from Don McGregor's Kill Raven run. And it's spelled P-S-T-U-N. It's so Don McGregor. They have this old comic strip here, Alex Collier. I believe he's an English cartoonist. And it seems like something from Viz. Very coarse humor, if you will. I never heard of this guy, Pete Fowler, doing an homage to Crazy Cat. Pretty nice. An article about how Dick Brown's grandson, who took over High and Lois, his son, but his grandson was in a hardcore band in I believe the 90s. And he would even put them in this strip. Profound Anger was the name of the hardcore band. That's kind of interesting. Top 5 most useless superpowers. Squirrel Girl, Matter Eater Lad. Ooh, and Cypher. He could translate any language. Nice little thing by Johnny Ryan about meeting Edward Gorey. And he kind of became pals with him. As much as you could be with Edward Gorey. But a John Kirschbaum illustration in the Gorey style here. Top 5 armed or just plain weird animals that talk. Rocket Raccoon, way before he became a household name. Howard the Duck. Cerebus. These are all pretty fun, these articles. So this one is uncredited. And I don't know who did this one. I'm not that excited to find out either. It's whatever. It's not so great. Look at this, a Peter Bagg comic from, it's called The Expert. And this is about one of the founders of Vice. I think this is the turd who went on to start the Proud Boys. Gavin something. And this is totally mocking Gavin, whatever his name is. Showing how he lives with his mom and he's just on the phone talking about all this nerdy shit with his friends. Being a total geek. Steven Weissman playing hide and seek with America's sauce. This is, if you like Steve Weissman, you'll like this comic. It's very fun. Just talking about all these random sauces, sentient sauces. So there's taco sauce, mayonnaise, ketchup, and then like the ranch dressing. That's one of the better strips in here. Johnny Ryan, of course, gets a strip in. And Rehab, starring Blecky, Yuccarella, and Wedgie. Very typical gross out humor from Johnny Ryan. Jordan Crane. Well drawn, but a pretty dumb strip. Not very good. But it's should be up my alley because it's pretty gross. But it's not very funny at all. This is the art on this is by Milano Chow, who looks very good. I've never seen her work before. And the story is by Fred Armisen. So basically the comedian Fred Armisen just had this anecdote and she illustrated it. Cole Johnson, don't know them either. Very appealing, cute style. Kind of just a little cute auto-bio story, but not very good again. I hate to sound negative, but a lot of the comics in this are not that good. They're like great cartoonists, but they're not bringing their best stuff to the table. Martin Sandrada, I have some of his comics. Sorry, I can't remember the name right now. I think Fantagraphics put his stuff out. And there's just a cute gag. This could be in the Sunday paper about like how dogs look like their owners. I think this comic was called Dang or something. Something like that. Dang. Vanessa Davis. This one's really bad. Badly drawn, bad, dumb story. It's almost like a Dilbert episode. It's about like office humor. Here we got David Cho, the accidental billionaire. And not really comics, but it's art and picture. It's art and story combined. And the story's great, though. It's just him doing this autobiographical sketch about how he had a crush on this girl. He was in the friend zone. But one day, he finally had enough money to take her out on a date, and he got to finger bang her. That's what the story's about. There's the technique he used. But, yeah, I like this. Ah, look, we got Mark Bell, regular Vice contributor, doing his inexplicable, beautiful cartooning. I don't know really what's going on here, but I love looking at it. Yeah, Mark Bell's a truly unique character. He's one of those cartoonists where I kind of suspect he's probably pretty weird. Like, just the stuff he puts on paper is like, wow, why would you even think to draw that? Like, that's nuts. But it's fucking brilliant. It's beautiful stuff. We have some stuff of all these cartoonists. Dave Cooper, Jordan Crane, Johnny Ryan, and Lorna Miller. Showing a lot of their tools, their art tools, but sometimes just showing fun things they have in their studio. It's kind of fun. Mark Bell, Sam Henderson, Steven Weissman, Tony Millionaire. I like how Sam Henderson has an ass in a box, which just seems like something Sam Henderson would have. It makes perfect sense. So this has nothing to do with comics. This was Vice had a regular feature where they take pictures of people at shows and parties or just around, and they would either mock them or praise them. Usually mock them and make fun of their poor fashion sense. Or a lot of times they would just mock that they weren't attractive and make fun of how ugly they were. I know that sounds terrible, but they were quite funny. They were very funny. And as an ugly man, just want you to know, I'm not above that. 2 beautiful pages from our Crumbs sketchbook. Dying is easy, it's getting born that's hard. A quote from Pete Poblasky, underground cartoonist. And then this one, I'll make sure you can see. I don't know what the hell's going on there, but it's our Crumb. Beautiful drawing. They got Al Jaffee to do a page rollicking responses to inane inquiries, because I think Mad owns the copyright to what was it called? Snappy answers to stupid questions. And just great stuff. Was that a fart? No, I'm dead, and that was my dying gasp. No, it was an ass poem, especially for you, sweetheart. He couldn't get away with that Mad. So I wonder if Al Jaffee had a great time making this, Getting this, stretch his wings a little. Oh, this is nice, a beautiful Dave Cooper page, which I think even at this time was getting rarer. Or maybe not. But, Dave Cooper's just like a fine artist now. I don't think he does comics anymore at all. I can't even describe this, but it's great. It's a really good comic strip. Maybe he was starting Weasel right around this time, like coming into his own, I don't know Lorna Miller, but I like her style. It's almost like she's a female Johnny Ryan. It's just very gross. Just has that perfect, funny, cartoony style where just people look funny, just the way they draw. She draws them. It's so dumb humor, but it's really funny. That's why I'm chuckling. Dennis Worden with some more poop humor. Big Plans. This one's okay. I've seen Dennis Worden do better. Oh, this one's nice. Tony Millionaire. And it's an autobiographical tale about how one night in 74 he was walking to a party and he sharded his pants. And he dropped his pants to like wipe his ass, and these people were like, "Who's in there?" They heard him, so he just froze. He had to sit there for a while, and these ants started crawling on his balls. And it says bonus gag by Angry Jim at the bottom, a Mr. Millionaire's colorist. So I don't know who Angry Jim is. I wonder, did Jim Blanchard color his stuff? I don't know. But we see the ants conquering his testicles. But they're like, look, they're natives. And there's crabs coming around in little grass skirts. Oh man, Tony Millionaire. This is this guy named On Smith. I think he was in Kramer's Ergot. And it's okay. I don't know. It's I'm Evil Randy. We just see this guy doing those evil things. And then when he's home, his family are just as evil as him. Looks like they're going to give him his karma, his instant karma. There's a guy named Ben Cho, just doing some illustrations. And pretty talented guy. Don't really care though. it's kind of photorealistic sketching. This is pretty dumb. Real life superheroes, and it's showing all these geeky collectors. Half of them just collect toys. I could give two shits about that. Patrick Dean. Never heard of this guy either. But Doctor, will I still be able to play the piano? This is a funny strip, I gotta say. I want to find more Patrick Dean. Love the style. Once again, a very fun, cartoony style that lends itself to humor, you know? Basically, this guy gets his hands chopped off, and they sew on 2 cobras. So this guy has 2 cobras for hands, and he goes on a blind date, and he meets this woman, and she's like, oh, I had my hands chopped off, and they gave me these 2 mongoose hands. What a dumb gag, but funny as hell. Oh, I like that. I gotta make a point to find more about Patrick Dean. Oh, God. I hate this cartoonist. Drunk for 24 Hours, drawn by Liz Prince, colored by Tom Finn. So I know of her work because she was in Razor Cake every month. She might still be. Razor Cake is a great punk magazine out of California. It's a non-profit punk magazine. And I've got a lifetime subscription. And I kind of actually turned to her comic first. It's like a hate read. I don't know if you've ever had anything like that where you hate it so much you have to read it just so you can get angry. So she does like really bad autobio stuff. And for a while there, she was the bane of my existence. But to be honest, I must admit I got pleasure out of how much I hated her comics. So, you know, who's to say? I obviously read her work. This one I really don't like. I like his cartooning. This guy's a great artist. Kaz Strizepek. I'm probably butchering that. It's Winsor Newton, Hipster Hunter. And they just show all these hipsters and he's taking them out. Just very, I don't know. Too hip for my blood. Mary Fleener, famous Cubist cartoonist, even though she's not doing her cubism in here. This one's pretty useless. Terrible art, terrible story. I think I only like Mary Fleener when she's doing her cubist art, to be honest. I've read some stories that I've liked by her. She's had an interesting life, so she sometimes makes these great autobio stories that are fun to read. But yeah, she still needs to work on her art, except when she does the cubism. Now this is a revelation to me. Carl Willis, Carl with a K, Jessica and the Jawbreakers. And it's about this female rock band. And it is just gnarly. And I love the style, this clear line, European looking style. This is someone I really want to hunt down. I'm really impressed by this strip. Not the funniest thing I've ever read, but it's dark, black humor, which I'm kind of a fan of. I mean, that last panel, oh my God. This guy's blood is coming out of his butt hole, and there's knives in his back. I think it looks like they chopped off his head too. It is crazy, but the colors, everything about this. Definitely want to find more of Carl Willis. If anyone knows about Carl Willis, send me a comment if you're familiar with their work. Very impressive. This is Rough Squad by Martin Kellerman. And I guess this guy, Martin Kellerman, interviews like rock and rap musicians, and then he draws them. So this is him hanging out with this English, I guess they're called a grime unit. I guess that's a genre in the UK, or maybe he made it up, but they're called Rough Squad. It's not very good. It's just him talking to these stupid as fuck rock stars, basically. Then again, maybe grime is like the streets. But if I had to guess, I would think it's that kind of rap, that white rap, like the streets do. Yeah, I'm sure if I knew the band, it might be interesting, you know. But it's not that funny. It's basically these guys just being, like, literally Spinal Tap stupid. This band just seemed like a parody of dumb rock stars. Dan Zetwach, or Zetwach, unfamiliar with him as well. Fun facts you may not know about the St. Louis Arch. This is kind of fun, actually. I think these are real facts. And has got an appealing style. I kind of like it. Apparently, there's a museum in the basement under the arch. And in the westward expansion area, if you stand in a certain place, it looks like an animatronic Meriwether Lewis is being filleted by an American bison. So that sounds like a good reason to go. A bunch of really small comic reviews. And they're very snarky and kind of mean-spirited. When they don't like something, they're just like, this guy's a fucking idiot. We got a Sam Henderson comic. Totally belongs in Vice. Look at this crazy coloring. I don't know if this is the first time Sam Henderson ever colored himself. I'm pretty sure he colored his Magic Whistle covers, and they never looked this garish. That's a nutty color choice. And if you like Sam Henderson, you know, this is a very typical, nonsensical, funny gag. Here's John Kirschbaum of Wiggly Reader fame. The Sneaky Peanut and the Subtle Sausage. This is just so good. I don't even know if I can describe it correctly, but basically this sausage and this peanut come up to this guy waiting for a bus. The peanut keeps like jumping in his mouth, keeps throwing it away. Somehow he's like, the peanut's back in my mouth. Throws it away. It keeps happening. So finally he cracks it open and eats it, figuring that'll stop this peanut from invading his mouth. And he's all happy with himself. And then the sausage is in his butt crack the whole time and he doesn't notice. Oh my God. I know that's stupid as hell, but I thought it was funny as hell. John Kirschbaum's a funny cartoonist. Great style for humor. I mean, he came out of the gate with that style. His earliest self-published stuff, The Wiggly Reader, just really good stuff. This is Kurt Wolfgang. Name sounds familiar, but I can't remember where I saw him before. And this says funnies. That's pretty well drawn. It's the city, and almost like Will Eisner, he spells out funnies with the buildings. And then these are just little strips, little gags. Unfortunately, none of them are very funny. And it does have a nice little style, though. And the jokes aren't that unfunny that it's like, I'd never want to read this guy again. It's just like, fair to middling, whatever. Now that I think about it, I think that guy used to be in Mome, maybe. Or maybe Top Shelf stuff. Oh, Ted May, The Perils of Heracles. I think this is pretty early in Ted May's career. And I can't even describe this shit. It's so funny and bizarre. It's ridiculous. Like Ted May stuff. I don't know if you've ever read Ted May. Tales to Demolish. That was his first self-published thing. Or not self-published. But it was kind of like a mini. And just a funny guy. Funny cartoonist. With this kind of primitive style. But it works perfectly for his comics. We got a page from Rick Altergott. A comic called Richard. And a little Henry Hotchkiss strip. And yeah, once again, if you like Rick Altergott, if you like Doofus, I think you'll like these strips. This is Sophie Crumb. And so I don't know how old she was in 2006, but she's obviously pretty young. And this just seems to be like her talking. Maybe I guess it is autobio. Her like hanging out with like just scumbags who live in the park, drug addicts. She kind of knows them. She pops up in the last panel. Pretty dumb story. I mean, I guess it maybe it's socially interesting. Like, oh, how do those people live? But I like her cartooning. Doesn't look a thing like her old man or her mom. But it seems pretty cool. Here's a strip by Sammy Harcum, Motherfucker. This one's kind of I don't know, nebulous. It's interesting, though, in that Sammy Harcum way. And this one's another guy I don't know, Richard Cowdrey. So, you want to be an artist? And we've seen this all before. It's not that interesting, to be honest. Then again, I'm not an artist, so maybe if you were an artist, you would find this more interesting. But, you know, yeah, if you want to be an artist, get ready to be broke all the time and be lonely and whatever. So there you go, guys. Vice, Volume 13, Number 5 issue, the comics issue. I gotta say, for an anthology, the batting average on this is not that high, considering that these guys have so much money. I mean, that's how they got our crumb in there. But Johnny Ryan, I don't know. Maybe he wasn't a tough editor. Like, he picked good people. Johnny Ryan knows his shit. He knows funny. But they didn't deliver, and he wasn't going to be like, hey, this one's not good. Turn in another strip. Because that must be tough. You know, I think that's what Art Spiegelman's like. That's why his anthologies are so good. He'll actually tell the artist, like, nah, try again. It's not good enough. But that must be hard, so I wouldn't do it either. I'd probably just be like, thanks for giving me this trip, famous artist. But definitely some great stuff in here. I don't know if these have ever been reprinted anywhere else. I don't know. I've never seen these before. But yeah, if you can find this, I doubt Vice are very expensive because they were given out for free by the millions. So I'm sure you'll find this at a garage sale or something for a quarter or something. I wouldn't be surprised. But definitely worth tracking down. Even though I'm sounding negative, there's still a lot of great stuff in here. Just getting 2 great R. Crumbs sketchbook pages is worth the price of admission, which is free. So, yeah, some pretty nice stuff, definitely, for sure. Okay, hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully I'll see you next time here at the Herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies.